Anyone seen my rock climbing shoes? Put in the pale and pale ale since I was 21. Well, really more like 25. I didn't like these at first at all, but now I force myself to like them. Mango? Is that what I'm getting? A lot of white guys have skeletons in their closet. Not me. I just have a 5-gallon drum of West Coast hazy fermenting. It smells like tangerines and barf. My Carhartt vest? Yeah, I do work outside. Yeah. You ever had to track down a disc golf disc in the woods? I like my IPAs like I like my women on Tinder. Tall, sweet, and within 30 miles of my home. I love local breweries. You guys want the IPA with the octopus on it or the skeleton? You know the phrase, Jesse McCartney walked so Bieber could run? Well, Bud Lights walked so IPAs could cycle. Got a 100K bike this weekend. Pretty excited about it.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to Tassie, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo! And last but not least, over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer, JD.
Wearing a We Are Local hat. Oh, it fits, JD.
Thank you.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Comment, like, subscribe. Get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. Send in your questions and comments to nodunks@theathletic.com. And hey, if you're looking for like a last-minute Christmas gift, might I suggest...
Last minute?
First minute.
Hey, man, Christmas is 3 weeks away.
Medium minute.
Right. 3.5 weeks away. Yeah. But this is a good idea. Go get an athletic subscription for somebody. A sports nut in your life. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. We still believe that Black Friday $1 a month deal is on.
3 cents a day, people. Get in now.
3 cents a day.
Well done. That's great.
It's the new pitch.
For the best sports writing in the
down
world.
by hour next.
And this podcast, ad-free if you want that as well, if you get that athletic subscription. So go to theathletic.com/nodunks. We have a fun one today. We are going to go through every single Western Conference team and share our biggest surprise at the quarter mark of the NBA season. But before we get to that, had 3 games on last night. I want to chuck all of them at you, and you guys can talk about any of the ones you want to. Pretty entertaining games, really. We had Luka and the Mavs edging Curry and the Warriors in a West Finals replay. Do you like travels? Because this one had a whole lot of traveling violations. We had Norman Powell scoring 32 off the bench as the Clippers rallied past the Blazers 118-112. And then birthday boy Julius Randle scored 36 as the Knicks took care of the Pistons 140-110. But I assume you want to talk a little bit about entertaining, sort of weird game between the Mavericks and Warriors there.
Yeah, Mavs got a little revenge for the Western Conference Finals loss. Before we get to the travels that everybody wants to talk about, it's Luka magic. Obviously, he was a magician out there. It was cool seeing him against different defenders, like the Warriors throwing Jonathan Kuminga at him, who was the best type of guy I think you put on him. Luka calls Lou Dort one of the best few defenders in the league because he just want a huge body to try and match the size and strength of Luka Doncic, and Kuminga kind of does that. It's just hard to find those dudes. So him, Luka being able to just dissect, diagnose, do whatever he wants against, double team, split him, dance, the beautiful scoop-de-loop pass to the corner that went right by Klay Thompson. That was amazing. He was just phenomenal out there. So he dropped another 40 spot, another 40-point triple-double. You know, these numbers, these stats come flying at us. But when I saw that it took him 283 games to get to his 20th 40-point game of his career, and it took Dirk 1,522 games to get there, I thought that was pretty significant.
Puts it in perspective.
Yeah. I know there's point inflation out there, but still, this is Dirk we're talking about. Dirk took him 18 seasons to get there. Luka, he's in season number 5. So it was just magical out there, and he did it. You know, the Warriors got contributions from the bench, which was weird, the way it balanced out, but Luka was the story last night.
What'd you think of that game, that first one on TNT?
I saw today that Jared Weiss at the Daily Ding called it the game of the season so far. The last 2 minutes, I think you at least got a case to be made there because the shot making was awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing 2 of the top 5 MVP candidates going head to head, kind of trading shots, pretty cool. A lot of weird stuff happened in this game. All the travels. I mean, the Warriors got looks for Steph and Klay down 3. a travel and a miss on those ones, but I was really impressed with the role players coming through in the clutch for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr. finally had a good game, had a massive three late in the fourth quarter of this one, and Josh Green had a wild take to the hoop where he scored a layup, and that really kind of helped ice things for the Mavs. So we've talked a lot about how great Doncic has been throughout this season. 3 40-point triple-doubles already. I do think he will bypass Dirk eventually for career 40-point games, probably by the next game. But they've gotten good performances from Wood throughout the season. Spencer Dinwiddie has been up and down a little bit, but has had a solid season as well. The role guys, the actual role players on the Mavs, have not been very good so far this season. They showed up last night, so the Mavs got an incredible win.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr. hitting 5 threes, some timely buckets too, and Josh Green playing really well in his 25-26 minutes.
Yeah, he was scared. He was scared when Spencer Dinwiddie went out. He said, "Oh, I'm gonna have to play point guard now." Haven't done that in a long time. But
right.
they need. It's sometimes good for a team to get a young guy sort of thrust into a bigger role. So, as Trey said, they just need those guys to play. Really, they have to play average basketball, and they can win because they've been losing these really close games. So they're back to 500. They could literally be number one in the West if they won some of those close games, if they got some of these performances from some of these role players.
How insane was the Dinwiddie ejection there? A flagrant 2 foul call on driving to the net. I mean, the elbow comes up, it hits Poole. They go and look at it, and I'm thinking, I think most people are like, okay, they're going to give him a flagrant one. You know, it was the chicken winged up there, it caught him, he went down. Okay, well, we'll just continue to play. But tossed for that, a flagrant 2. And then in addition to all the maybe correct travel calls, it was just I just tweeted last night, it was a fun game, but it was just a weird game with everything going on. What'd you think?
Dinwiddie call wrong. Travel calls, we got to understand what a travel call is. They're right. We have to figure out what travel calls are. What pivot feet, the pivot foot
that's the big
is.
part. It's that switching to that pivot foot.
Yeah. I start to think back to, do you remember when Kevin Garnett, Candace Parker, and Gary Payton jumped in? They had an argument about what the hell is a pivot foot? Because it's changed. It has changed. The pivot foot's supposed to be the last thing that leaves the ground, but now it just dances, and then you can move to your other foot and let that one hang. So it is weird that it's happening now in November because it wasn't a mandate in October. Tom Haberstroh has broke down the numbers, our buddy, that they were, they were just pretty regular in the month of October, but now they're like 4 per game, which is like almost triple what it was in October. So it's weird that it wasn't at the beginning of the season because that's when the mandates come. But I think it's good for the game eventually.
You like it?
Yeah, because the dancing at the 3-point line with the Harden shuffle, whatever you want to call it, it's become a little nuts. But anyway, traveling talk is boring. And it's unfortunate, but I think it has to be done. It's just weird when it's coming out. Because they've got...
Hey, at least they were consistent about it last night.
Yeah, just call it.
Yeah. 10 times.
Call it and the players will learn. The players will learn.
Yeah. You have any thoughts in addition to Tass there on the traveling or the Dinwiddie flagrant 2?
I feel terrible call on Dinwiddie. I thought that was kind of a textbook flagrant 1. Contact to the face seemed incidental to me because, I mean, he's trying to get him off him, but, like, he's not aiming for his face. Just very weird the way his arm kind of traveled up. I guess it was Poole, right? Traveled up his chest into his face. Maybe he's got a magnet.
Poole's got a magnet in the face, and he's got good reactions, too. So
he'll sell it, and he's got good facial reactions in general. The Curry travel... That's not a travel. I don't think so.
You're talking about the last one, I assume.
The only one that really matters. Yeah. But they called it a travel because they missed one for Tyler Hero. So it's in the minds of the official. I wouldn't be surprised if it's rescinded. I thought that was a big gather step he did. We've seen that so many times.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, you've seen that from Curry or 100 other players a million times over the last 10 seasons. So if they suddenly change the ruling on that, we're going to see a hell of a lot of travel calls.
Well, he got called for one earlier, very similar play, and then post-game he's like, they thought I did the same thing, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I trust him.
As for the other games, just some love to Norman Powell for 22 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, shot 7 of 9, hit both of his threes, got to the line, 6 of 8 there. I read that no Clipper in the last 25 seasons has scored more points in a fourth quarter. Norman Powell has that now. Incredible stuff from him as they came back to sort of shock Portland there, who looked like they had a comfortable lead. And then the birthday boy. I love a guy scoring on his birthday. Randle, 14 of 24 from the field, 7 boards, 5 assists, put beef stew on a poster. He was not happy about it. Gave him a little shove after. But I think for the Knicks, I mean, it was against the Pistons with no Cade and no Ivy. I get that. But they did have Randle, RJ Barrett, and Jalen Brunson all playing well, sort of, on the same night because they've struggled with that. It's either one guy's having a big performance, the other two are stinging it up, maybe 2 guys, the third guy's nowhere to be seen, but all 3 were decent. And Mitchell Robinson stayed out of foul trouble, stayed on the floor. He's very vital to them, and he grabbed 13 rebounds. So they're happy with those guys contributing. Grimes playing well, quickly off the bench with 15. Everybody played all right. They're celebrating Julius Randle's birthday. Wouldn't you love to have a big performance on your birthday?
Yeah.
Do you think about that with the podcast? I guess we're August birthdays, so
Yeah.
we're not doing a live podcast generally in the off season.
Oh, I blasted a home run on a baseball podcast on my birthday this summer.
Oh, there you go.
I don't remember what it was, but
It was your best
it
one.
was a no-doubter. Yeah. I think it was a solo pod forcing JD to talk about baseball. But just like Norman Powell going solo in the fourth quarter, it's a good win for the Clippers.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the Clippers as the surprise that they are.
Yeah.
Considering all the injuries that they had going into last night.
Before we get to that, I had an update with Karl-Anthony Towns. He's expected to miss several weeks, likely 4 to 6 weeks, with that right calf strain he suffered on Monday night. But the good news, Trey, is that he avoided a more serious injury like a ruptured Achilles. But 4 to 6 weeks here, I mean,
That's a chunk of
Minnesota's gotta
time.
figure it out, yeah.
A month and a half, if he misses, of trying to actually figure out how you're going to play together. We've seen a lot of clips going around of Gobert and Towns just like in the lane, kind of shoveling the ball back and forth to each other. A lot of congestion there. So my guess is that the Timberwolves offense is going to instantly improve just because there's one less big guy out there. Anthony Edwards is going to go crazy. He's been looking forward to playing with only one big guy out there. Unfortunately for Rudy Gobert, it means he probably won't touch the ball for the next month and a half. But, I mean, the good thing is that Towns isn't, seriously hurt where he's going to have to recover from an Achilles injury. But this is bad for the Timberwolves still. Even if it's only a month and a half, they need every single game they can play together to figure out how they fit together.
Yes, because it's such an odd combination of bigs for sure. I think it's slow-mo time, though. Kyle Anderson's going to play a lot at the 4 to stretch it out. Naz Reid has been so good. I think Chris Finch probably be tempted to play Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert together, but that would continue to clog things up. So I think Kyle Anderson, who was a smart signing for them, I think he's come along slowly. He was injured to start the season. He's going to be key here, but it does suck for them just in general. Not playing together. That hurts.
I think Taurean Prince is out right now for a couple weeks. I think he has a shoulder injury. Maybe when he comes back and is healthy, they could put him into the starting lineup as well, just to add some shooting. Because Kyle Anderson doesn't give you that. Like, he's actually not bad.
He's going to try.
3-point percentage-wise, but he doesn't take a lot of them. So, you got him and Rudy there. That could be an issue, but I think you're right. They'll probably go with him. Naz Reid continuing to come off the bench, but maybe Prince comes back and he's slotted in there just to give them a threat of a 3-point shooter. All right, let's get into it here. The main bulk of this podcast is biggest surprise for each Western Conference team. On tomorrow's show, we'll do the Eastern Conference teams, but we are a quarter or so into the NBA season, so surprise could be good, it could be bad, it could be ugly, and it could be about a player. It could be about a coach. It could be a trend that you've noticed with this team. Go wherever you want with your biggest surprise. We'll start in the Pacific Division.
Divisions, baby.
I love divisions. You know it. Great way to break it up. 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. Oh, I love that. Phoenix Suns, Tass, in the Pacific Division. What's the biggest surprise to you at the quarter mark of the NBA season?
The Suns in the old Pacific Division. I guess it shouldn't be surprising that the Suns are the same old Suns. I just thought something was fishy after the way they went out, the way they got destroyed by Dallas, the DeAndre Ayton signing a contract with the Indiana Pacers. But nope, same old. Devin Booker is going to be All-NBA. DeAndre Ayton signed that offer sheet with the Pacers. He's come back basically the same guy with the Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul missing games. That's the same old, just kidding, I'm an a-hole. But I guess that is one interesting thing with the Phoenix Suns because they are the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Chris Paul, when he has been playing, he's played half the games. Doesn't look like the old Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. His age finally catching up to 37-year-old Chris Paul because he's at 9.5 points per game. 37 and 27 is percentages. Just 7.5 shots per game, which is really weird for Chris Paul. So is that an issue when he does come back, or will he just find his groove again? Because Cam Payne has been very good replacing him has been really solid. So the team doesn't look like it has any problems. I keep harping that they don't get to the free throw line enough. They are amongst the bottom teams that doesn't get to the line. The Golden State Warriors are the absolute worst at that. They have the jump shooters to make it happen. Do the Suns? I tend to think they've got to find some extra buckets. But really, when you look at the numbers, they're a great offense, and so they haven't missed Jay Crowder. And they haven't missed Cam Johnson being out, which is kind of crazy. They're the number 1 seed in the West because they got Fillins and Torrey Craig, Damian Lee, Jock Landale plays minutes. But Monty Williams, I guess, is the rock that keeps this whole thing together as the head coach, keeps things running, and they are the same team. So 14-6, 20 games through the season. That would be all you really ask for. They are right on pace to be, another 55-60 win team.
Yeah,
amazing.
I remember you doubting them quite a bit in the preseason. You thought the hangover of that brutal loss last year with the Ayton, with the Crowder holdout and all that could have an effect on them. But
who knows? Yeah, it's all vibes. And can you really feel the vibes? I just thought losing, again, that's unprecedented to lose by 50 at home. The DeAndre Ayton thing where he said, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So that wasn't selling me, but obviously their play is amazing. And I thought the Western Conference teams would be better. So I thought there was a chance when we made our bold predictions that the Suns would drop down the standings.
Right.
But they have not been. There's a lot of mediocrity as we get to these teams, and there's a chance that a lot of these good teams could pass the Suns at some point because at 14-6, 55, that's very, very good. But there's a chance for a team to grab the West if they want.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep it going, Trey. You got the Clippers. Biggest surprise.
Biggest surprise for the Clippers to me is how little Kawhi Leonard has played. It's honestly shocking. The guy's coming back from injury. He missed 500 days, just like Ben Simmons. What a number, 500 days of summer. We knew he was going to be in and out of the lineup, for sure.
Yeah.
Kawhi's been a load managing kind of guy since the Zaza injury with the Spurs way back when. He played, 65 games for the Raptors when they won the championship. That seemed about right. He's played 112 minutes so far. He's played in 5 games so far for the Clippers. You would think that after taking a year and a half off, he would be back more regularly than this.
Yeah.
This is pretty surprising that he's been in basically as a role player. When he's playing, he's hardly playing his usual allotment of minutes. It's been weird the way they would bring him in halfway through the second quarter. It's just been a very strange experience for Kawhi since he's been to the Clippers, no doubt about it. But this season, it is shocking to me that it's less of a story that he's playing so rarely. This guy has barely been on the court for the Clippers since he got there. Understandable last year, he was out, but you would think having that much time off, he's going to be raring to go, and that has not been the case. Clippers have still done a good job. They play defense. We saw last night they can get hot and score a whole bunch of baskets. It helps if Anthony Simons is trying to guard you, but the Clippers ain't winning a title if Kawhi Leonard is not Kawhi Leonard, and he has not looked anything like it because we haven't seen him play.
Yeah, and he's already going to miss the next game. It's so strange with them how they say, yeah, he's going to miss the next 2 games just to manage, and it's like how is he going to come back? Is he ever going to come back? Because you can look at him and say, yeah, he's coming along slowly in those 5 of what's going to be now 23 games that the Clippers play. But you can also look at him and say he looks big and kind of slow out there at times too.
In theory, he should be out of shape.
Yeah,
he's not playing.
Yeah, I mean he's got the touch.
Yeah,
that's obvious. He'll always have the touch, but will he be the guy to carry a team in the playoffs? It's impossible to know.
It's a good one. You would have guessed that he would have played more at this point, quarter into the season. Even being Kawhi, I think you would have been, he's probably played half the games or something like that.
If he played 10 games, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. You're resting every other game.
Yeah.
That's kind of to be expected. To play in a quarter of the games and then to play barely any minutes in those games, very, very strange.
Yeah.
So he just dictates I don't feel good because there's no injury, right? There is not an injury because he's...
Well, they're saying it's his ankle, right? Right now?
Oh, okay.
I think. It's tough to keep track with him. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's how they have him listed. Yeah, ankle for at least yesterday's game. So that's what's lingering right now.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
All right, I guess that's a good sign that it's not the surgically repaired ACL. But they're 13-9, which is obviously better than you'd think they'd be, to me.
Oh my God!
2 games back of number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
Absolutely, especially with Paul George not playing in every single game either. And then you said they're like one of the best defenses in the league. Like, kudos to Ty Lue and the guys playing out there. That's pretty impressive. I would not have had them at 13-9 if you had told me Kawhi was going to play 100 minutes a quarter of the way through the season. So yeah, I guess continue to slow play it, I guess, is sort of the counter to this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're falling behind and you're like, oh my god, we're going to be a play-in team. Yeah, they're still picking up wins. Pretty wild.
You got hot Normie with Norman Powell playing a hot Normie. I was just thinking of a hot Bobby sandwich. That's why I said a hot Normie.
You hungry?
Well, Thanksgiving just passed.
Yeah.
You remember the hot Bobby?
I made my own hot Bobby with leftovers. Stack it up, baby.
Explain that for
Damn.
someone that doesn't know what a hot Bobby is. What is it?
A hot Bobby. It's a Thanksgiving-themed sandwich from Capriotti's in Las Vegas. You got a turkey. You got some stuffing. You're throwing some cranberry.
There's
on
cranberry,
there.
for sure.
I don't know what other
Little
accoutrements,
sweetness.
but those are the 3 building blocks.
It's a Thanksgiving
of hot
sandwich,
Bobby.
for
It's a
sure.
Thanksgiving leftover sandwich.
I believe Matt
Delicious.
Bonner loves a hot Bobby.
Does he?
I think he was. Didn't he order something
No, he
similar, JD, when he was on Is This Good with Matty O? It was.
Yeah.
Did he call it the gobbler? Or
It was a
something like
gobbler.
that?
It was a
Yeah.
gobbler, yeah.
Which has to be
sounds like a
similar.
turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. The stuffing. He said there was stuffing, turkey, and maybe
Yeah.
gravy on there. Probably cranberry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he got it delivered
You got-
mid-show.
Yeah.
Classic Bonner.
Perfectly on brand, Matt Bonner. Guy orders a sandwich in the middle of his show. You gotta love it.
He's hungry, man. He's
Oh, yeah. I love it.
6'10", isn't he? He's huge.
We did
He's
a
got an
whole
appetite.
segment at the Horseshoe Tavern with Matt Bonner making a sandwich. Do you
Right.
remember that?
Right. Yeah.
Lost
about
on
that.
the internet.
Oh. We don't have the footage.
We got nothing. I can't find anything.
Oh, geez. That's
Somebody was looking for the Christmas Carol, the Christmas album we did, and it's gone.
Nah, that exists.
that used to be up on YouTube.
We
Yeah.
gotta find it.
Okay.
We'll post that as a
Okay.
classic.
All right,
bye.
let's keep it going here. We're still in the Pacific Division. I got the Sacramento Kings. Biggest surprise about the Sacramento Kings to me is that Monty McNair, he might get some warranted Executive of the Year votes. Look at the moves this guy did. He brought in head coach Mike Brown, who's been great. I mean, he installed a cowbell in the practice gym, and he installed a beam on top of the Golden One Center roof.
Wait, Mike Brown
Mike
did that?
Brown did that. Yes, I'm convinced he did.
I got an idea, guys.
Hey,
I'll be back in 20 minutes.
McNair, they drafted Keegan Murray at the number 4 pick. Now, look, he's been injured. He had illnesses. He's got a back issue. He's been okay. He's been okay.
He's been solid.
But you see the promise there at the number 4 pick. But the big things were that McNair did. The 2 moves were trading Justin Holiday, Mo Harkless. How could you be Mo Harkless? And a future draft pick for Kevin Huerter, who's been unbelievable for the Sacramento Kings, starting for them. And they signed Malik Monk to a 2-year, $19 million deal. That guy doesn't turn 25 until February. That almost blew my mind when I was looking at that. Feels like he's been in the league so much longer. But those 2 guys, Red Velvet and Monk, combined are giving you 30 points per game, 8 assists, 5.5 rebounds, and 5 made threes per game because they're both lights-out shooters, or they let it fly at least. Huerter, obviously, very efficient from 3. Monk, less so, but lets it fly, can get hot. Just credible moves that, some of us were high on during the offseason, but I think it went overlooked for the most part. There were other big trades, Murray and Gobert and Mitchell and all that. These have been really solid additions, adding some shooting to Sabonis and Fox as your guys. Now, the defense hasn't come around. It's 25th in the league. Man, you'd love to see that just get up to average with this really lights-out offense, but they've been a surprise team. I know they're on a losing streak. They've had a weird year, right? They just lost a bunch of games to start, then they sort of flip-flop for a bit, then they had the huge winning streak, and now they're on a bit of a slide, playing some good teams. But nice moves there from Monty McNair, who I still think
Great
is
name.
a quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
R.I.P. Steve.
Oh, R.I.P. to Steve
Yes,
McNair.
very
Jeez,
sad story,
Jesus,
actually,
that's
yeah.
very sad. But yeah, good stuff there from the Kings. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, the signings have worked out really well.
Yeah.
The Huerter getting a more prominent role than he had here with Atlanta. You're the starting shooting guard. We're not messing with that. You're the starting shooting guard has worked out ridiculously well. Love that for Kevin Huerter. And Malik Monk rolling.
Yeah.
I think those 2 are really, really key to their success. And it's still success, even if they have a little losing streak. That's fine.
Absolutely.
That's
They're
fine.
6th right now in the Western Conference.
Yeah, the
You're
Brown.
extremely happy with
the
that.
Brown
Extremely happy.
beam. Can you Mike
Brown bean.
I
That
know,
sounds
it's
like something
gross.
that happens after a hot Bobby sandwich.
That's what they like when they lose. Yeah, fire the brownie.
Yeah, that didn't go. That's what happened in the brainstorming session. Mike Brown's like, "We'll call it the Brown beam."
And so it's like,
Everybody's
no, we're not doing that.
Can we make it purple, Mike?
That's a better idea. All right, let's keep it going. Golden State Warriors, back to you, Trey. What's the biggest prize?
Biggest surprise to me, 0 Andrew Wiggins buzz.
He's been awesome.
On deaf ears.
Yeah,
He's been
well,
awesome. He hasn't been awesome.
He's been awesome.
No,
He's been better than last
See,
year.
this is the problem here.
This is crazy.
He's been better than last year. Wiggins is probably having the best season of his career at this point. He's having equivalent to his best scoring season, at least, with the Warriors, and he's shooting 43% from three. But here's everything you talk about with the Warriors. Steph Curry is one of the best players in the league. And then their bench not coming through and their young guys not coming through. Maybe a little bit of Draymond Green punching people in the face. Klay Thompson struggling. Everything else on the Warriors is a story. But Wiggins has been playing really, really well. He said after the finals last year, he's like, I'll never have a season where I average 4 rebounds again. He's averaging 5 rebounds a game right now. A career high.
Damn.
A career high in steals as well. A career high in blocks as well. And like I said, 43% from 3. He's now under 50% from the field after last night, but still 49.7. Close enough. The guy could be knocking on the door of a 50, 40, 90 if he could make a free throw. He's 69%. Nice, but not at the free throw line.
right.
So I'm a little surprised. Wiggins, started the All-Star game last year. A bit of a miraculous happening there. Won a championship, completely changed the narrative around him, and now he's out there just being a good basketball player. So we're just letting him be.
Yeah. I think it was fitting that you said Andrew Wiggins having a good year.
Crickets.
Dead silence.
Crickets.
Yeah, because that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But you make a good point about the All-Star appearance. I thought, just a perfect storm last year for him to make it because Klay Thompson was out especially. The second Golden State Warrior went to Andrew Wiggins. I would love if they were up in the standings and people were thinking about giving them a second All-Star. Who would it be? Could be Wiggins. Probably not Klay. It'd probably go to Wiggins, but it'd probably go to another player in the National Basketball Association most likely, and the Western Conference first.
Yeah.
But he is having a better year. He is.
Still wild that they have this brutal road record with another one last night, losing in Dallas. What, they won 2? 2 and 9 or something like that.
2 of 11,
yeah, nuts. But there's still a 500 team. There's a bunch of 500 teams. 2 and 10 on the road.
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors, defending
Golden
champs, with Curry playing the way he's played all season long. That's just weird. But okay, a little love for Andrew Wiggins. Don't think he's going to be making the All-Star team this year. Starting
Not
or
if they're
reserve.
500.
No, probably not. All right, Tass, finish off the Pacific.
Everybody's favorite team.
Yours,
The Los
for
Angeles
sure.
Lakers. Well, listen, I was past tense trying to find a way for them to be palatable on television, on the screen, because they have 30 odd national TV games, whatever it is. We're kind of forced to watch them in a way. So I wanted them to be a little bit better, but they have, I think the ship has sailed, but there are a lot of surprising things about them. Russell Westbrook going to the bench for the first time in his now 15-year career and being cool with it. Wow. No one expected it.
Surprising. I
It is
agree.
surprising. It's like we expect him to be more AI than mellow in the end, but he's doing it.
Yep.
AD, knowing the Lakers don't have a center and just playing the 5 the entire season, that's a little surprising. Moving there full time, it's a little bit surprising. That's what he should be doing. AD being fairly healthy, but this team still being 5 games under 500, that's also a little surprising to me. I thought, and I was wrong, that AD would carry the team a little bit more. That hasn't happened. But there's some non-surprising things, like LeBron missing about a quarter of the games, which he's done in 3 of the last 4 seasons. Patrick Beverley being suspended. That's not surprising. But I guess the most surprising thing to me is that Rob Pelinka has not burned the draft picks and tried to make a trade and tried to make a deal. And maybe he's being smart because this team is not going anywhere. Even in the Western Conference, where you can jump up the standings, I don't see it happening. The schedule is going to get really tough in December, and the Western Conference, even if you can, you can sort of squint and say, hey, we can do this, like Anthony Davis said a couple of years ago after they lost to the Phoenix Suns. I was injured, and whatever. Like, you can make excuses, or you can kind of reason with yourself, but the quality of the Western Conference is too much for the Lakers. There just aren't enough bad teams for them to beat. They are 2-11 against plus 500 teams and 5-1 against sub 500 teams. And there's just too many good teams, I think. So they don't have enough. They do not have enough. And
Do you not
I
think
wonder
it's
if
like
Pelinka makes the move.
GM malpractice, though, to not make a move with LeBron at this point of his career? And you still have AD. Like, you have 2 of the better players in the league.
But they're
at their
so
positions.
far back. I just don't know if the guys that they're going to get are going to help enough.
Okay.
Maybe they're a playing team if you go get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, or you go get Jakob Poeltl and Josh Richardson, but they're just not going to get enough. So I think he's being smart. We've had a quarter of the season here. AD has been extremely healthy, which may not happen the rest of the season. Westbrook is playing as best as he can. I don't think they have enough. Maybe the malpractice is the last few years with the supporting cast after the championship. Yeah, because it's just been eroding since then.
Any thoughts on LA?
I think eroding is exactly the right word. They broke up a championship team, and that was the exact kind of team you needed around LeBron. It was guys who play defense and shoot threes, and they started going for playmakers after that. It didn't make any sense, and somehow Rob Pelinka got even more job security out of it. I don't know. Lakers will do all right, though, if they can find a way to play the Spurs every single game.
That's a good point.
Good job by them winning 4 out of 5 against against the Spurs and the Pistons. Because if they lost those ones, I mean, I think the season is over for the Lakers already. But if you lose against the worst teams, it's really over.
Yeah. And we'll just add here, AD and LeBron, both probable for tonight's game here on Wednesday night. See if they're even playing. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll get to the other 2 divisions in the Western Conference and share our biggest surprises for each team. Don't go anywhere.
Grammarly. My old friend. But quite literally, I mean, No Dunks and Grammarly, we go way, way back. Almost as far back as this copy, guys. Because according to this, I'm supposed to talk about heading back to school. It's so old that it's practically fresh again because people are getting ready to go back to school after Thanksgiving and going back for another semester. So well played, Grammarly. Well played. And listen, I wish I had Grammarly when I was in school, and the internet, and a computer. All I had back then was my dad, who, truth be told, was a pretty good editor, but every mark that he made on my handwritten page he became more and more disgusted with me. That's what I love about Grammarly. No shame. Completely shame-free. Grammarly's digital writing assistant is like a trusted companion and friend who's only interested in being there for you and setting you up for success. Grammarly is a must-have for every student. And best of all, it's free to download and works on all your favorite devices and apps. The free version of Grammarly offers comprehensive spelling, grammar, punctuation suggestions, instantly proofreading your work as you write so you can be sure it's mistake-free before submitting. Grammarly Premium, when you're ready for that, comes with advanced features like clarity, full sentence rewrites, which flag and rephrase hard-to-read sentences, cutting down on jargon and making your writing easier to read. Jargon. A lot of people love jargon. Kids today love jargon. Just padding that essay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I used to do it.
Get your word count up.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Get rid of word counts in essays, right?
Yes.
Just succinct, to the point. Premium even comes with a built-in plagiarism detection.
What?
Yeah. Just because I would always worry that this sounds like every other essay. I'm going to get flagged for plagiarism. Not that we had plagiarism detection back in my day. It was just the teacher's gut instinct. You didn't write this, you fool. Just one more way Grammarly catches the details that go into getting the best possible grade. Improve your grades with fewer all-nighters by using Grammarly. Sign up today, free, at Grammarly.com/NoDunks and get 20% off when you're ready to make that plunge and upgrade to Grammarly Premium. That's GRAMMARLY.com/NoDunks.
The holidays aren't all sleigh bells and mistletoe. They're also airports, shipping delays, and hours upon hours spent in a car. But you can give yourself the ultimate gift of a stress-free holiday with Next Evo Naturals fast-absorbing CBD products. You know the Donkey Boys love Next Evo's Smart Sorb technology. Oh, we love the Sorb! And we love it because it delivers CBD to your system in as little as 10 minutes, unlike other CBD brands. Smart Sorb upgrades CBD's natural absorption power, and it's scientifically formulated to deliver more CBD fast. In fact, Next Evo is the only brand clinically proven to deliver 30 times better absorption in the first 30 minutes. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So help fight holiday stress with Next Evo Naturals Stress CBD Complex Gummies featuring ashwagandha. Next Evo is the only brand that combines a patented natural whole plant ashwagandha that's 8 times more powerful than regular ashwagandha, and their 100% US hemp-derived Smart Sorb CBD with 4 times better absorption than standard CBD. I'm no mathematician, but the numbers sound good. 30 times, 4 times, 8 times. You add it up. That's why they call it Smart Sorb.
Damn right.
They had to call in the scientists to figure out those ones.
Too many numbers.
Yeah. I tried figuring it out. My numbers were way off. They called it dumb sorb. So nobody will ever buy that.
No.
Call in somebody who knows what they're talking about. Who's very smart with regards to sorbing. So get smarter CBD from Next Evo Naturals and get up to 25% off subscription orders of $40 or more at nextevo.com/podcast. Promo code NODUNKS. That's nextevo.com/podcast. Promo code NODUNKS.
All right, back in the Classic Factory. Biggest surprise for each team in the Western Conference at the quarter mark of the NBA season. We are making our way to the Northwest Division. Denver Nuggets. Surprising a lot of people, Trey, but what's your big surprise?
Biggest surprise for me, you're going to love this one, Skeets. Nikola Jokic is leading the Basketball Reference MVP tracker.
Whoa!
This guy's got a 30% chance of winning his 3rd straight MVP. He is 56th in the league right now in field goal attempts per game. Wow. He's averaging 23 points per game. He's obviously dishing and boarding as well. Almost 9 assists, almost 10 rebounds. So he is almost at a triple-double. But it doesn't feel like we're seeing a Jokic MVP season, but he is dominating, according to Basketball Reference. A big chunk of it, surely, is past performance and also team performance. The Nuggets have been winning a lot of games, so that's probably why he is ahead of Luka Doncic. But, like, Luka is averaging a lot more points, basically the same stats. Counting-wise, percentages aren't there like Jokic's are, but that's just strange to me because I've watched a lot of Nuggets games. They look good. They don't look great. Jokic looks fairly the same, except for he doesn't want to shoot as much this year, but he's still having a similar impact that we've seen in the past couple of seasons. So that's just weird to me to see him at the top of the MVP tracker, because I feel like right now when you're talking about who's at the table, you're almost throwing Jokic a bone, right? You're like, He's been really good this year. Maybe he's 4th or 5th on the ballot at this point, but according to Basketball Reference, number 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you polled most NBA fans, casual fans, diehard fans, I think they would have Jokic 4th or 5th, right? Behind a Luka, a Giannis, a Tatum, a Curry.
Maybe even a Curry,
yeah. And then he's probably there with your Bookers and such. But yeah, that is wild. But then again, the man... 64.5% effective field goal percentage. This guy, like, this is the thing. He's like, I don't need to shoot.
He always makes it when he shoots it.
Yeah, that's right. But wild stuff.
I don't know if there's a comparison in NBA history for a guy who's won 2 MVPs and then shot so much less. Like, just all of a sudden really changed his game. Like 4 shots per game, fewer than last season. As you said, in the 50s, 56 field goal attempts overall. He shoots less than Gary Trent Jr. does.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. likes to get him up.
Sure,
no doubt about that. But still.
It's good name pull, though. 13 and a half shots per game. It's weird. I was going to say, we're not venturing into the Steve Nash category in terms of how little he shoots as an MVP, but, man, that number has just dropped off. So, yeah, I think it's hard for people to say his numbers have dropped off so drastically in terms of just raw points. Otherwise, he's great.
Yeah, of course.
For people to say, oh, yeah, he's MVP. But, right now, snapshot, they're 2nd in the Western Conference, while they finished 6th last year. And
I was going to say, could he win a 3rd in a row? What would have to happen? I think it's unlikely, but what would have to happen? They'd have to be the number 1 team in the league? And he's got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It has to be a part of it.
You have to think that they would have to have not just the best record in the Western Conference, because Tatum has been so good for a Celtics team that has the best record in the league, followed by Giannis, so good for a Bucks team who is the 2nd best team in the league. So if the Nuggets can, win 15 straight games and somehow jump those teams in the standings, maybe there. How about comparison-wise, LeBron in his 2nd MVP season with the Miami Heat, when it just became, I'm only taking the most efficient shots possible. Like, remember him and Wade, like, just stop taking threes during that season, because they're like, we can get a great shot anytime we want to. he started shooting less and became more and more efficient. Jokic is doing the same, I guess.
That's good. And that was his final MVP that he's gotten to this point. Unfortunately for LeBron, that's pretty good to drop the shots. I wonder if it can't be that.
And it's not going to
shots.
be the same drop off. I don't
not
think.
drop off and just LeBron ain't just shooting 12 times a game. But yeah, he became ridiculously efficient. Yeah.
Let's go to the Portland Trailblazers. I got this one. The biggest surprise to me is that Jeremy Grant has maybe turned into the Blazers' best player. Hell, this guy might be the new Wiggins. This guy might be an all-star this year, taking that small forward spot. But if availability is the best ability, you've heard our guy Gulliver say that, then yeah, Grant has a case because Lillard is their best player, but he's missed half their games. I believe they're like 4-6 now after that devastating loss last night to the Clippers with Lillard not in the lineup. So, they're treading water, but it's down to Anthony Simons, who was hit 9 threes last night, and then Jeremy Grant to carry the offensive load without Lillard. And Grant is just having a remarkable year. You talk about efficiency. He's scoring 21.5 points per game. He's shooting, I had these stats going into last night. I think they maybe even ticked up after his game. 47.5% from the field and a blistering 48% from three. Jeremy Grant is shooting on nearly 6 attempts per game. He gets to the free throw line with the same frequency as he gets up 3-point attempts. He plays solid defense. He leads the team in win shares. Again, without Lillard there on the court, and Simons, he's taking a step. And man, that guy's mad streaky from three. That's unbelievable when he catches fire. I just think consistently, Jeremy Grant has been a bit of a rock, and I know we've talked about him a couple times this season, especially when the Blazers had their little win streak going there. So yeah, he might make a case for an All-Star selection as sort of like one of the last picks for an All-Star.
I'm buying it.
Yeah,
I'm buying it. Team number 4 for him. It's just unexpected for him to be this solid. Maybe Damian Lillard can get some Executive of the Year votes, like Monte McNair, because he's been dying for Jeremy to come join him, and people thought he was overpaid when he went to the Detroit Pistons. It wasn't the proper role for him, but to be this ridiculously solid, good, I don't like the best ability is availability thing.
You don't like that?
No. What about,
why not?
What about being an incredible basketball player? Yeah, for me, but I'm not incredible.
But if you're Kawhi Leonard's an incredible basketball player, he never plays.
Oh, availability.
Yeah, but the best ability is for him to carry a team to a championship. I think being a good basketball player is the best ability.
No, I think it has to come into the equation here. I think you have to be out.
But not the best.
Oh, okay.
I think Michael Jordan, if he missed 10 games, he'd still be the best.
He never missed games. That's why he's the best.
Yeah, took a couple of years off.
He did play some baseball. How many baseball games did he miss?
Probably never.
Probably not.
Didn't miss a one, except for the 20 years he was playing professional basketball instead.
Yeah, he didn't miss a golf game, that's for sure.
That's right.
Ever.
Card games? Never missed one? That guy just never missed anything when he was available. But yeah, Grant, showing some love to him. And look, the Blazers, what a weird season they've had. How would you grade it so far? They're 11-10. Like I said, Lillard's missed half the time. Good? A B? They haven't blown you away, but I think a lot of people, when we were coming into the season, people thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. Mm-hmm. So I guess they're exceeding expectations.
It's high grade. High grade. I'd go A-.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. It's similar to the next team that we're getting to, I think.
Okay, let's go to the Utah Jazz. Tess, woo.
They've overachieved, for sure. They were but even more so, I think, than the Blazers, because their win total was projected even lower. And, yeah, they're sitting fine now. They were the number 1 team for a long time, but, yeah, they've dropped in the standings. Of course, they're 12-11. Exact situation that the Blazers are in, and exactly the same sort of situation is where they've got a guy who's ridiculously solid, like Jeremy Grant and Lauri Markkanen, who could make an all-star team and was looked at as a throw-in in the Donovan Mitchell trade this past summer. It was Colin Sexton, Abaji, and Lauri Markkanen, and now he could be a most improved candidate. Mm-hmm. He's there. The Jazz have played 23 games. He's played in all of them. The best ability is availability. I've heard. I'm buying it. And he's playing a career high, 34 minutes per game. He's stayed ridiculously solid. He got a great cackle out of Trey Kirby yesterday because he's a guy who's, his temperament, effort level has been questioned before, half to half, as we talked about yesterday. But he's a rock. He is a rock, and you don't think of that with Lauri Markkanen. Career highs, 22 points per game. And career highs in field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, free throws, assists, blocks. He looks like a different dude, taking a lot of shots from around the post, which is nice. That post area, a quarter of his shots come from the post area, that range, shooting 77% at the rim. He's cash from the mid-range. That doesn't sound like Lauri Markkanen, but he's just versatile. Looks like the dude who people thought would come from that number 7 pick way back when. He's 25 years old, and I think this is him. This ain't Andrea Bargnani who's going to fade. I think this is him. I think we're getting Lauri Markkanen at that 20-point per game type of guy, complimentary player, not a number 1 player, for the rest of his career. I think he can do it. I believe in it.
The biggest surprise about the Jazz happened on yesterday's podcast when you said, you said got to have Conley healthy.
Oh, I
the
threw
team's
a
got to be
caveat.
healthy. You thought the Utah Jazz would finish the season above 500. I'm shocked by that statement because I don't believe it.
You don't believe it.
No.
I think, they have a very slim margin of error. They need all their dudes to be playing. But I think Conley is key. If they have all their dudes, all their duties, that is the most important part. They need every single one of them. They have to have good availability. And I think that, and obviously they can't have Danny Ainge blow it up.
Well, I know. That's the fascinating part. What happens in the next, especially once we hit December 15th when a bunch of other guys can be traded or added to packages. What will Danny Ainge do with this team?
Trade him.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, not Markkanen. Markkanen seems like he's going to be sticking around, but like a Conley, Malik Beasley, perhaps.
Clarkson, maybe?
I don't know. Clarkson seems to be kind of an important piece for the Jazz, but if the price is right, I'm sure that Danny Ainge would be interested in some draft picks. But it's impressive what Markkanen's done. I thought he would have a long NBA career of just standing on the outside and shooting threes. He's a good three-point shooter. The percentages have finally come around. He's back at his career average, basically 38%. But for the first 4 seasons of his career, he just stood on the outside and waited for somebody to pass him the ball and shoot an open three. Now he's moving around the court. He's scoring inside. He's scoring in the mid-range, like you're saying, Tass. It's been impressive, and shout out to Will Hardy for basically like watching Finland game tapes and being like, oh, this guy can do stuff? Let's let him do stuff.
Right.
Also surprising, I really like the Jazz's coaches' sweaters that are just a plain black sweater with a tiny purple Jazz note. They're nice.
I think they're
nice.
The nicest zip-ups or whatever sweaters.
It is a straight-up crew neck.
Yeah.
Just a plain black crew neck with a tiny little purple Jazz note on it. It looks nice. Just looks classy.
Clean.
Yeah.
I didn't think a regular crew neck would be classy enough for coaches. After last year.
It usually isn't. We saw Mark Daignault in it, right?
Yeah.
That was the sloppiest look. But this one, I think it's just the color combos, keeping it nice and sedate, black and purple, smooth.
Yeah, they look good. I agree. I agree. They've jazzed it up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves. Biggest surprise about the Wolves is how wrong I was, and maybe we were, about Gobert propping up a defense still at this point in his career. We just thought, you throw Rudy Gobert on this team, like they'll be top 10 defense, maybe top 5. Like that's sort of what he's done for the most part with the Utah Jazz. And instead, the Wolves ranked 19th in defensive rating, 15th in opponents' effective field goal percentage, and 17th in opponents' turnover percentage. It just hasn't been incredible, hasn't been inspiring. Kevin Pelton shared the most jarring statistic I saw yesterday. When Gobert plays with any other power forward on the Minnesota roster, the team's defensive rebound percentage is 72.5%, which is a rate that ranks almost dead last in the NBA. That's Gobert out there as the center with whatever other power forward you want to put out from Minnesota. And what's shocking about that, and Pelton made point of this, is when he was with Utah, like just even last year, they're like the 4th best defensive rebounding team, percentage-wise, when Gobert's out there. Like that's like what he does. He just cleans up the glass. So it's just weird, and it's disappointing, of course, the Minnesota Timberwolves this year. Defensively, sort of the vibes. Now the Wolves, cat injury. Anthony Edwards sort of a little stagnant in terms of his growth. We thought he might like sort of pop off here. D'Angelo Russell's still there. He has one great game, and then he has a couple stinkers. So it's bad. And I thought, again, I think we sort of thought, oh, the Wolves, they're going to win a ton of regular season games. And then it'll be a question come playoff time. And maybe the opposite is happening here. They're just going to be sort of like an abysmal regular season team for whatever reason. And maybe if they sneak into the playoffs, they'll surprise people. That's what they're hoping for. But we were shocked about this.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like the Timberwolves fought along the same lines as everybody else. They're like, hey, we got Rudy Gobert. Defense and rebounding solved.
Yeah.
They're worse on defense this year than they were last year, which doesn't make any sort of sense. But when you think about it logically, Karl-Anthony Towns on the perimeter trying to chase guys,
Yeah.
that's a problem. Anthony Edwards doesn't give a full effort defensively. Russell is good at like getting in passing lanes and telling people to get in passing lanes, but not a lockdown defender. They miss some of their energy guys, no doubt, and they miss the grittiness that Patrick Beverley gave him. He was celebrating like crazy after that play-in game. He's a key. He was a key to them last year, just yelling at people, I think. Gobert yelling at him doesn't seem to have the same impact.
Yeah.
Yep.
Final team in the Northwest. I believe you have it. Oklahoma City Thunder.
The Thunder. The biggest surprise is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's jump. Who saw this coming? Even a Shea lover like you, Steve,
Yeah.
you couldn't have seen
No.
this coming. The guy has jumped up, and he's different. He's different than your typical NBA guard. I know everyone's calling him him. He called himself Himmy Carter when he hit that big shot in Washington. But I want to go back a couple years ago to a little slightly older slang than him. He's different. He's built different. Because in a league where guards are shooting more threes, he is shooting fewer of them. He's taking 18 twos a game and just 3 threes a game. He used to shoot more threes, but 85% of his shots are now twos. This is the fewest number of threes he's taken since his rookie year. It was increasing year to year to year. He's taken more and more. It got up to like 5 per game last year, and that's dropped off significantly. He's leading the league in 2 points attempted per game for a guard. Actually, only Giannis takes more twos per game than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's like it's not quite like Ja Morant leading the league in points in the paint, crazy, but his shot profile is really, really weird for a guard. 18 twos per game. He's also leading the league in total free throws attempted because he's getting to the line and he's playing a lot. 31 points per game from 24 points per game. He's just gotten more efficient. The numbers are just, the efficiency is really good. He's just gotten better, and that's why he could be probably the most improved player. I think Larry Markin's in the conversation. There's lots, but he fits the Ja Morant prototype of going, good to star at this point. Like
Charles Barkley
super
thinks he should start the All-Star game. He was going crazy last night. He's saying we got to take away the fan vote if SGA is not named a starter for the All-Star team. A starter. I mean, okay, even myself will say, well, pump the brakes a little bit, Chuck. He should make the All-Star team. I don't know about starting over Luka and Steph. I think that's a little extreme. Yeah.
Or Ja or Devin.
Well,
There's lots of good guys.
Yeah. Good point.
So-
Let's just start with making the All-Star team. But, yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did not see this coming. I just didn't. It's a shocking. I know we've talked about him, and we've talked about him in the MVP conversation. But the fact that the Thunder are now sort of coming back to earth as far as their record goes, they're 8-13. Still, Shai is he's carrying the team.
Yeah.
And he really is. They've got supporting players, but he can get into the paint anytime. And he's ridiculously efficient at it. And I just hope he stays healthy because I saw him limping around the other night. Didn't like that.
He's questionable tonight.
Yeah.
Against
Good.
Spurs.
Let him sit. Let him sit a game. And not sit 20 games, but he was limping out there, and they're firing every guy in the world at him. And now that's the question. Once you know that this guy is so good, you're just going to take the ball out of his hands for the next 20 games.
Right.
So hopefully he can keep it up.
And even Herb Jones, it was nice to see someone, a great defender in Herb Jones, realize he wants to go left every single time. And Herb got the, bang charge call at the end of that game with, of course, SGA going left, and he slid in left again. Charge, was it a block? It's the classic. You can go either way with it, but he obviously read the scouting report, man. He wants to go left every single time, and he has all season long, scoring 31 a game. It's been wild. So we'll see if the Thunder record is strong enough for him to get an All-Star selection. I think he'd be a reserve selection instantaneously if there's an injury. But that first 12 in the West, I don't know if they're one of the worst teams. It'll be difficult with all the great guards, but I think he should be there. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of good guards out there. A surprising thing to me about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is there was a clip that went around recently of him ranking his best players of all time. Kobe, LeBron, Jordan. He said Kobe was Michael Jordan on steroids, which is crazy because when you look at the stats, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there have only been 5 guards ever to average 30 points per game and take 3 or fewer three-pointer attempts per game. It's Shai, Allen Iverson, George Gervin, world be free, and you guessed it, Michael Jordan like 1,000 times. You're playing exactly like Michael Jordan, blocking shots like Michael Jordan as well. You should probably put him a little higher on your list, buddy.
He's too young, man.
He's too young.
24 years old. His Kobe is his Jordan. That's what it is. All right, let's go to the final division here. The Memphis Grizzlies in the Southwest. Trey, what surprised you?
Something that really surprised me about the Grizzlies, we did this YouTube short the other day about the Grizzlies dance, the Memphis walk dance. I was surprised to hear that Antonio Brown invented this dance. Football player Antonio Brown. Not a big fan of the guy. Still a surprise to me that he was the guy that did it. So that's cool for them.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say about the Grizzlies, I'm surprised how little we talk about the Grizzlies. It seemed like every year or every weekend last season we would come back, Ja or the Grizzlies would be a winner of the weekend.
Yeah.
We talked about these guys all the time. They're having a pretty decent season, 12-8 so far. They just haven't really caught fire yet. We've had definitely some Ja Morant highlights. He's had some big games. But I think it's the fact that first Jaren Jackson Jr. was missing time with injury. Now Desmond Bane is missing time with injury. So they feel very unformed right now. But they're playing well. Ja's having a great season. They just rarely come up right now.
Yep. I think the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans are all in that exact same boat. Like, they're playing really well, but we don't talk about them a whole lot. But, they obviously have star guys across all three of those teams, be it Jokic and Murray and obviously Ja Morant with the Grizzlies and Zion and Brandon Ingram when healthy and McCollum even. But, yeah, we just, they're sort of just, meeting expectations right now perfectly.
Yeah.
Not exceeding them, not coming up short, but they're just right there. But I think of either of those three teams, all three of them, two of them, they're going to have a run where, because they're fully healthy or whatever, they'll rip off a 9 out of 10, and then I think they'll be at the top of everybody's, they'll go up power rankings, and we'll be talking about them a lot more. But that's a good point about the Grizzlies.
Yeah. They won so many games last year that it's just not as much of a storyline. They've obviously been injured, and that's hurt the win total with Desmond Bane being out and Jaren Jackson Jr. Coming back. And they're super young. They're slow playing this thing forever. They are one of the youngest teams in the NBA. They're not going for it. They're not trading a lot of big parts. So they've got that long-term view to win, down the road and have a dynasty. A dynastic team that hopefully invents an even better dance, because that's the lowest bar for the term dance. I mean, that's
just finger pointing. I guess they are moving. Yeah.
That's a dance, but that's there's nothing.
Is it that much different than the Macarena? Really, when you think about it? I mean, I know there's a couple more steps to it.
You move.
Well, you don't really.
You turn 360 degrees.
Well, they're moving forward.
Just forward.
Yeah.
It's called walking.
Yeah. Well, it is, yeah, for sure. The only other note about the Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks is finally trying to reduce taking 30 shots a game or 20 shots a game. He's over his last two games, he's dialed it back a little bit. I think he's the perfect, he should be between 14, 15, whatever attempts per game, and he's playing well. He's hitting half of them over the last two, including three-pointers. He hit 7 threes over the last two games combined, and in both of those victories where they crushed the Pelicans and then they held on to beat the Knicks. Dylan Brooks is I know we make fun of him a lot, and he's got the most punchable face in the league, but he is important to their success.
He is.
He's a great defensive player. He's a pest. And then, you'd like to have the ability of a 3-and-D type guy like that to hit some threes. And he's rounding into form, I think, a little bit.
And I love that if there's a game when both Ja and Desmond Bane are going to miss time, he is not being judicious with his shot selection then. The 30-shot game against the Nets, that was sick. That was perfect. I kind of feel like...
He scored 31, didn't he?
Yeah, 31 points on 30 shots. Yeah. So I think that is cool. I think that it's just funny to me that he's fine, I'm shooting every time. And I also think we talked about this a little earlier. Julius Randle shot the ball a ton on his birthday. I think if it's your birthday, you should shoot the ball the most on the team.
Yeah, okay, that's a good rule.
It should be an unwritten rule in the NBA. It's his birthday, let him shoot.
I like it.
Let it rip.
Let's go to the Pelicans. I think the biggest surprise about the Pelicans' 12-8 start is that it is the franchise's best start since 2010-11.
Nooch?
That's wild. Nooch. I don't know if Nooch was on that team, but that was the year Monty Williams was the coach. They started 11-1 that year, and they were 13-7 after 20 games. So they're 12-8, pretty similar. I went and checked every other season I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how I had to keep clicking previous season on Basketball Reference to find a better or comparable start to their 12-8 start this year. Isn't that wild? 2010-11? That's a long time ago. We're talking Chris Paul, Marco Bellinelli, Trevor Ariza, David West, Oak.
Yeah.
You had Jarrett Jack. You had Jason Smith. And look at this. Who was coming off the bench for that 2010-11 team? Willie Green, baby. Full circle up in here in the Classic Factory. That's nuts. So, despite the injuries to this team that I just talked about, Willie Green has the Pelicans playing on both sides of the ball. Top 6th, I believe, in offensive and defensive rating, at least last night when I checked. So that's really, really good. You're a damn good team when you're like, the borderline top 5 on both sides. And that's awesome with guys in and out of the lineup. And it's amazing. Because of that, they've had 9 guys averaging over 20 points per game played. Because of, Ingram's out, and then McCollum's out, and Zion has missed time. So, good stuff. 12-8. I know we talked about them a little bit yesterday, and there's a little more love to the Pelicans.
Did you just give Emeka Okafor the short name treatment? Is that
No,
Oak?
I didn't.
Who's
do
Oak?
that. Well, Emeka Okafor.
You can just throw Oak out there for
Why
Emeka
not?
Okafor and to know who he is.
Of course. They started 13-7 in 2010-11.
I remember that team.
They lost in the first round to probably the Spurs, Lakers. I don't know. They made it, I know.
I had a nice flashback.
Lakers.
Nice flashback to those blue jerseys, those bright blue, teal-y jerseys.
Yeah, teal. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to call them, but I guess they're teal. Anyways, I like those.
Willie
They're
Green,
bright.
though. How about that?
That's crazy.
How
He
about,
was playing, too.
how about this? This is how good Zion Williamson's first 100 games have been. Another
Yeah.
Michael Jordan shout-out. One more. Zion Williamson's 2,524 points are the most by a player through 100 career games. Through his first 100 career games since Jordan. 2,721 through his first 100 games. The most in the first 100 games since MJ.
Huh. LeBron didn't do it, eh? It's a little wild.
Nope.
I mean,
not
Curry,
Luka
of
didn't
course
do
not.
it.
Yeah, Luka, you'd think.
Luka
yeah,
would be
yeah.
the big one.
Yeah.
But yeah. They've just been spread over many years.
Zion Williamson has been playing since
So were Michael Jordan's. The only time he missed time is second season in the league.
So that's the secret.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
Gotta skip that second season.
Exactly right. All right, Dallas Mavericks. Back to you, Trey.
Dallas Mavericks, to me, the biggest surprise is that Luka Doncic is one of the best post players in the league. Currently second in the league in post points per game, 4th in post-ups. Post-ups are out of favor right now. Kirk Goldsberry had a graphic not too long ago explaining that this is the lowest rate of post-ups that we've seen in the NBA in a decade. Surely a decade prior to that, people were posting up all the time. It's all that people knew how to do back then.
Yeah.
Just got to post up. Start at half court. Just back him on down. But Luka's doing it because you mentioned it, Tass. The guy's huge. 6'8", a muscly underneath the rest of the body kind of guy. And he's obviously drawn a lot of smaller guys on double teams and switches, but it's not all small guys. Like, he hits his ball on him, 7'2", does not matter. I'll just walk him underneath the basket. He's got a couple of moves down there. He'll hit you with the spin to the baseline. Guaranteed that's his go-to move. But if you go for that one, you're going to block that one off, he'll hit you with the Dirk step back.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to see Luka right now playing incredibly well, and they operate him so much the same way that Dirk Nowitzki did. Obviously, Luka's handling the ball a lot more, but he's getting a ton of touches like in the mid-post area where Dirk went to work. So it's pretty cool to see, 5 seasons after Dirk retired or whatever it is, that the guy we thought would take the reins from Dirk as the next Dallas Mavericks superstar has done it, and he's doing it similarly to Dirk, at least in this aspect.
Yeah, why aren't we seeing more edits where they're shooting it from the mid-range together? Like, fade from Luka to Dirk.
Oh.
Maybe it is happening and I'm just not seeing it. Fade from SGA to ASG. Did we do that, or was that just in my head? Like All-Star Game.
No, I don't
SGA
remember
to
doing that. No.
SGA, and
I've
then
said
it goes
it.
into like
Said it.
that 70s show thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And transforms to ASG. I think it's
I was trying to
said.
push like the SGA for ASG. I mean, I've been saying that for a couple of years, or I've been trying to get him to the game. And then somebody came back at me on Twitter and said, nah, it should be SGA to ASG, because that's his number.
It is.
I was like,
That's
damn.
good. That's nice.
That's good. That's better.
I like
Still works. Four
works.
in the selection, but 2 the All-Star game. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hashtag, get it going, trending right now. Hashtag SGA2, the number 2, ASG. With Luka, too, his usage percentage, it's like dipped a little bit, 38%, which is insanely high. I mean, 38% of the possessions like really go operating through him. What's wild is Giannis is even higher at 39.4 right now. I assume that will drop too, especially once Middleton comes back. But both of those guys, Embiid's right on their heels as well, 37.7. Wow, just give it to your best player.
Just let him shoot every time.
Turns out it can work, but can it wear them down? We'll see. Spurs, Tass, what do you got?
Give it to your best player. Who is the best player on the San Antonio Spurs? That's the question. It's what surprised me is that it's kind of hard to tell with these bad teams who's going to be an NBA player for a long time, who's going to have a great career. And they have one of the youngest teams in the NBA. They're starting a 20-year-old, a couple 22s, a 23, and old man Jakob Poeltl at 27. So if you look at this team and you watch them, can you see a guy that's going to be a 15-year career type of player? And Devin Vassell at shooting guard, I think, is. And he is sort of flying out of the radar. He's scoring 20 points per game, and points have to be scored even on bad teams, but he's flying under the radar. This is year 3 for him. He's a shooting guard. That's what he is. He's a pure shooter, but he hadn't found his shot until this year, really. He was 35 and 36% from 3, and now he's shooting 42% from 3. That's incredible, and that's what they drafted him for at number 11. He's taking 7 threes a game. He's a starter averaging that 20-point per game number. He's kind of flying under the radar to me. So I believe in him, and I'm not going to make this one long because it is the Spurs, and it's kind of hard to tell what they're going to do with this team. Mm-hmm. Just keep on being bad because they're the baddiest of the bads right now. They're 29th in offense, 29th in defense, which is kind of surprising for a team that should be athletic and a team with Jakob Poeltl, who again is old. But if you watch them, he is also a really smart basketball player, solid at 13 and 10, 3.5 assists. That's a big number, and good percentages, other than the free throw line, which you can go hack a yak if you want to, if you're that type of crazy. But what are they going to do? Are they going to trade Jakob Poeltl? Are they going to trade Doug McDermott, who's even older than Jakob Poeltl? They're going to trade Josh Richardson, who's also around 30. Those are the guys that could be traded if they want to go even further, and they never used to make mid-season trades, but they do now. And so if they want to go further into that either the Wembanyama sweepstakes or just being young, I think it would make sense. Maybe not Poeltl because he's just good, and you need some old guys. But I think Devin Vassell has kind of floated under the radar as a really good player.
Final team here in the Western Conference. I've got 2 surprises when it comes to the Houston Rockets. One, sort of similar to what you're talking about with the Spurs. I'm surprised Eric Gordon is still on this team. That guy's 34 years old. He makes $20 million per season, though next year's not fully guaranteed. He has spent 7 seasons, though, in Houston, Aaron Gordon. That caught me by surprise. He is the last holdover from the James Harden, Mike D'Antoni Rockets era. He still starts. He still plays 30 minutes per game. Like, I get it. I get the idea of, like, you're a young team, and it's nice to have an adult in the room. And he seems content with it, if we're being honest. I know there were at least some quotes from Eric Gordon, I think, in the offseason about still sticking there, and he's fine with it. But he is averaging a career low 12.9 points per game. In his shooting splits, they're fine. They're 45, 37, and 88. But you can't tell me that Eric Gordon couldn't be used in a better role on a team with like more like playoff aspirations, championship aspirations, whatever, as sort of like a 7th or 8th man, right? And look, the Lakers, they want to try and just make the playoffs. It makes sense there because they need shooting. I feel like the Mavericks, they either got to hope their guys just start hitting shots, or maybe you make a move and try and get another shooter in there. Could you get Eric Gordon? The Knicks, too, are a brutal 3-point shooting team, despite hitting 1 million last night against Pistons. I mean, I don't know what that deal is. It's like Evan Fournier and I guess obviously some draft capital, but then it's like, really? Is that that big of an upgrade, Eric Gordon to over Evan Fournier? I don't know, but I'm just surprised he's still there. And I think he will be moved at some point. But the other surprise with the Rockets is that they are the most enjoyable bad team to watch in the league, I think, personally. Of all the teams with 7 wins or less, I find Houston the most fun to fire up on League Pass. And I'm talking about like your Lakers and your Hornets and your Spurs and your Magic and your Pistons. The Rockets are super young. They make a ton of mistakes because they lead the league in turnovers. But it's a back and forth affair, and they just have a ton of athletes. So you're catching highlight after highlight. Jalen Green is a bucket. Şengün, he's in the Sicko report. He's fun to watch, operating in the post, making plays. Kenyon Martin Jr., we've talked about, a highlight machine, leads the league in highlights per second. I saw Kevin Pelton with that stat. I'm just kidding. And then Jabari Smith Jr., he's starting to find his groove too. He's like coming around here. He's averaging 15 and 8 over his last 6 games. He's shooting 40% from deep. Kevin Porter Jr., he's a wild card. They're just fun. They don't win a lot of games, obviously, but they're in a lot of games. And I think they're the best bad team to watch. So those are a couple surprising things.
I'm always surprised by how watchable a Rockets game is. Yeah, you're like, they're going to blow it at the end. It's going to be an entertaining watch as it goes down. So kind of perfect for the Rockets. And yeah, Şengün is awesome to watch. I saw Kevin Porter Jr. said they call him Baby Joker.
Yeah.
Around the rest of the Rockets.
Yeah, sure.
Play style is certainly similar. Şengün, not quite the passer that Jokic is. Obviously, nobody is, but man, he is a load down there on the block.
It was good to hear Şengün say that Jokic is his idol growing up. So that's fitting.
That's weird, though. I mean, Nikola Jokic is pretty young.
Yeah.
How old is he? 25, 27?
I mean,
27?
I added the growing up part. I said
so it's his
kind of
it's his current
It's his
NBA.
idol.
Yeah.
He's his idol. Probably as a teen. He's how old is Şengün? 6-7 years younger than him, I guess. So he was growing up as a teen.
I guess so.
He was growing up
makes
as a
sense.
teen. We all grow in our adolescence.
We do.
Sometimes we don't. And here we are.
All right, there it is. All 15 teams, a surprise about each squad in the Western Conference. Let us know your biggest surprises with all 15 of those, and we'll do the East tomorrow. Got to take one more break. When we come back, pick 'em results and tweet of the night.
Well, I was at a lovely wedding a couple months ago. My man Ryan Setz got married. No, it was not a bowling-themed wedding. The former Canadian Junior Bowler of the Year doesn't bowl as much as he used to, although he did win some cheddar, his words, in a tournament recently.
Oh, nice.
Some cheddar, some Canadian cheddar. But I could tell Indochino was present at his wedding. I could tell. I was looking around, spotting him everywhere. I was looking for the bowling monograms on someone's suit. There were some bowlers there, I know. I know Indochino can sew a nice bowling monogram. They customize everything. I know, Skeets, you've got an Embrace the Day monogram.
I do.
I've got your pant leg, right? I've got all of everything. Just all of monograms everywhere. My chinos, my shirts, my custom cuffs, my custom collars. I got it all. Just olives. All colors, too.
That's nice.
All colors that olives come in. Not crazy colors. Not like white olives.
What colors do olives come in?
All of them. Green, for sure.
Yeah, black.
Purple.
Black, purplish, yeah.
That's it.
Man, this ad is the pits. Anyway, sorry, Indochino. Anyway, I've got my measurements inputted on Indochino's website on their platform, and I'm glad they haven't changed over the years because I put them in a couple years ago. They're still there. Easy. Click, click. Choose your favorite fabric. Customize every detail to find the look that is perfect for you. I was impressed with the customization. Every Indochino suit is made specifically for you. It's a tailored experience at a great price. Shop their made-for-you suits starting at just $449 and premium fitted shirts starting at just $89. You can fine-tune every detail, lapels, linings, monograms, and more. Get a premium, personalized wardrobe without spending a fortune. Design your perfect suit with Indochino. To get 10% off any purchase of $3.99 or more, use promo code NODUNKS at Indochino.com. 10%, that's a lot of cheddar. That's INDOCHINO.com, promo code NODUNKS.
10%, that's a lot of olives.
Oh, yeah.
Champions aren't born, they're made. And the secret to making your business reign supreme? Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere, whether you're selling warm-ups or wall hangers. It's time to start selling with Shopify and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of businesses worldwide. With Shopify, you'll customize your online store to your brand, and you'll discover new customers, and you'll build the relationships that create diehard fans, like our diehard No Dunks fans. Shopify fields all the sales channels to grow a winning business, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, even across social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Social media, hot right now.
Social media.
Big time. Social
Yeah,
media
yeah.
is having a moment.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, and thanks to 24/7 support and free on-demand business courses, Shopify is on your team every step of the way. It's a well-known fact that Jimmy Butler started selling $20 cups of coffee, no matter the size, in the NBA bubble back in 2020. But did you know that Jimmy brought his love of coffee and community to the digital world? Seriously, Big Face Coffee uses Shopify. Jimmy gets buckets, and Jimmy gets bucks with Shopify. When you're ready to take your winning idea to the world, team up with Shopify, the e-commerce platform powering millions of businesses down the street and around the globe. Try out Shopify for free today and start selling anywhere. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. And sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/nodunks. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/nodunks to start selling online today. That's shopify.com/nodunks. All right, back here in the Classic Factory, just give me a quick sec. I'm trying to retweet everyone that has No Dunks as the top podcasts on Spotify this past year. The hashtag Spotify Wrapped has already dropped. It's not even December yet, and they're already wrapping up Spotify.
A little early. You don't know what I'm listening to in December.
Exactly. But
Bing Crosby.
we love to see it. So thank you to everybody that's sharing that. I generally see it on, I guess, Twitter and Instagram, where you can share that you've listened to some 10,000 minutes of No Dunks this year. Isn't that wild? It's like it's crazy. It's like days, if not weeks.
Trey's doing it now.
166 hours worth would be 10,000 minutes. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of us. That's too much us, if I'm being honest. Sprinkle in a different podcast.
That's a full week. 6.9 days of podcasting.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody. Continue to share that on social media. We're trying to reshare everybody that has us. At least number one. If we're like 3 or 4th, no, it's not getting a retweet.
How about a like?
Okay, that's fair.
Toss a like.
Sure.
Gotta be number one for a retweet.
Yeah.
Standards.
If we're coming under a windy or a low, we'll like it, but we will not retweet it.
Okay, how about this?
That's too low.
Number one, it could be any ranking on the top 5, but it's the only sports podcast on there. So number one, sports podcast,
sure.
but like you got an NPR one at number 1.
I haven't seen many of those. I got to say though, that's very rare.
You calling our listeners uninformed?
Well, if they're listening to us for 10,000 minutes out of a year, yeah. All right. Pick'em results from last night. We had the Warriors-Mavericks game. The Warriors were the favorites on the road by 1.5, small line. I took them. Trey took them. We got the L. Taz took Dallas. And you are 7-11. Trey's 8-10. I'm 10-8. But it's the last night, so really it's coming down between you two here. Could tie, I guess, for last place in November. I know it's not really a thing anymore.
I thought we were doing the winner game.
Yeah, I won. Woo!
You did. We don't do anything with our pick and payouts
No, we
anymore.
just make picks to see how much we know about basketball.
Yeah. Right. And this is how much we know about basketball. 10-8. That's the best record. It's like 500.
Turns out it's tough, man.
Gambling is hard.
It's very
Don't do it,
difficult.
man.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
13 games this evening. Too many games, right, Skeets?
Too many games.
You don't gotta tell me. And Survivor.
Yeah.
And it's our pickup run, weekly pickup run, which I don't even think I'm making it out to tonight. You playing tonight?
Not tonight.
Jesus.
I've got responsibilities, unfortunately,
Oh, I'm
tonight.
sorry to hear
Yeah.
Sucks.
Dad responsibility.
Fuck, I gotta pick up my kid for basketball.
There you go. There you
She's hooping. She's hooping right now.
Ballin'.
That's right.
What's tonight's
One
game?
other responsibility you could have is creating a URL, I think would be appropriate. Does Skeets think there are too many NBA games tonight.com? And then just your face.
Do it. Somebody make that.
Somebody make
I'll
that.
chime in every night.
Yeah, boom. Tonight, yes.
Tonight, yes. Too many
13.
games. 13. Why did we only have 3 last night? Why did we only have 1 on Thursday? Anyway, what's tonight's game?
Eminem. It's a tasty one.
Eminem is on your Spotify Wrapped most listened to?
No, sir.
No?
Maybe a day after the Super Bowl was like one song. What about you?
I did just see Eminem. I found myself watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like last week, I think it was, and he got inducted. And he did a really weird thing.
Eminem's in the
Yeah, yeah.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah, he's old, man. And he like gave a like it was nice in theory what he did. Like he gave a shout out to like all the hip hop artists that have inspired him. But he did it in alphabetical order and read it. and it was like way too long. Like it was like 100 names. And again, like nice, like a nice gesture, because he was like, he's saying like there should be way more hip hop artists in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay. But it was like, it just went on and on and on and on and on and on. Anyway.
Took him forever to get to the M's.
Yeah.
Which are the two teams tonight, Eminem, Memphis, and Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
There they are.
You said gambling is tough and you shouldn't do it. I agree with that. Put your house on Minnesota covering this tonight. Come on. No cat. You watch. You would think,
player bump. Sometimes there's a player bump.
You watch. And I feel confident about this one.
And Memphis, the reason why I think there's a chance that Memphis plays tough is because this is their playoff rivalry. This wakes them up. If you remember, Anthony Edwards a few weeks ago said, we're going to go play Minnesota or Memphis now. I was confused by all these M's. That this is the game that riles us up. Who knows?
You got a little mom's spaghetti on your shirt.
All
right, so Trey is taking Minnesota. No, he's taking Memphis, and we're taking Minnesota.
Again,
I know, it's confusing.
Too many games, too many M teams. Good luck.
I like Minnie covering this tonight. I do. Okay, let's get to Twitter.
I forgot who I picked.
You took Minnesota.
I know. Anyways, let's get to Tweet of the Night.
Yeah, Tweet of the Night.
Tweet of the Night. Wow.
Okay, fun tweet of the night from our guy, Jason Gallagher. He was one of many people tweeting out a photo of Luka Doncic arriving to the arena last night in his suit and his kicks. And Jason Gallagher had a funny caption to go with it. Luka looks like he's meeting some coworkers for happy hour. And there were a lot of great responses. A lot of Luka looks like. This one was fun. He's about to open up a business checking account at Wells Fargo. Luka looks like he's ready to hit on Jen from accounting. And Luka looks like, it's tough to say, that's a tongue twister. Luka looks like he's ordering a vodka soda. DFB, though, had a photo to go with his tweet. Luka looks like Vincent from Collateral. Wow. There's some similarities to the suit, but our own Trey Kirby did him one better. Luka looks like he's going to host an NBA talk show in 2018. And yeah, there he is. Just throw him into the mix.
And
Vincent.
We got them all.
Yeah, so I guess I am wearing really, Tass and I are wearing very similar suits to Luka, but I got the no tie and the kicks,
Jordans,
the J's.
It's pretty accurate.
Yep, it is. It is. That's great stuff there. It's a fun tweet when people do the Luka looks like. We should throw that up on our Instagram. I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll put it on the gram.
Yeah.
There was a New York Times column recently about what business casual dressing means now that people are returning to offices. And it's basically you just wear a light-colored button-down shirt, no tie, and a pair of dress pants. Look at Doncic. Business casual himself.
He's almost overdressed
there.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's showing up to the office. And then you're going to take off the jacket.
Roll up the sleeves.
Get to computing. Get the computers puting.
Getting good computing, hitting on Jen and accounting, and then I'll see you later at happy hour. All right. Fun tweet. Later tonight. JD, what do you want to call it? I guess tonight. Is this good?
Yeah, tonight. Realistically, it will be tonight.
Realistically, tonight, if you're on the East Coast. Probably today, if you're a West Coast viewer or listener. Mattio with Is This Good? It's Mattio JD. Special guest, Jackie Tone. I don't know if you know who that is, but she's the host of the Best Leftovers Ever on Netflix, and she was Melrose on Glow, which you can also watch on Netflix. So an actress going to be joining Mattio and JD to debate the Is This Good topics. Do you know what's on the docket, JD? Can you tease us with one at least?
Yeah, there's one that I had never heard of.
Okay.
Push gifts. Have you heard of this?
What's a push gift?
It's for women going into labor or something, like pregnant women.
Okay.
That's all I know about it.
Wow, I didn't know this was
I've
a
never
genre.
heard of this thing.
A push gift. Like, give me, what would be an example of a push gift?
I got Laura a pair of LL Bean Wicked Good slippers.
Okay, so
for one
things.
of our children.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
A little comfort for her.
Yeah. So it can be things
during
like that?
labor? Like it's to be used during labor?
She's opening it during labor?
No, I think she put them on after she got home.
Okay.
Yeah, just around the same time.
So what is the push? Is the push like pushing the baby out or
Yes.
like? Okay.
Yeah, because when you say when it's called push gifts, I think it has to do with the actual labor part.
Yeah.
You know, not like the
Totally.
labor gift.
When do you give the gift?
It's
Before
a
labor, during labor, or after labor?
All of these questions will be asked and answered.
Having
hopefully.
a baby gift. Why
Jackie,
just
I don't
having
know.
a
Does
baby?
Jackie have children? I'm not sure. I guess you're gonna find
don't
out.
know.
This is
I've-
good. Not that it
yeah.
doesn't matter. Give her opinion. But.
Yeah.
JD has them.
I have kids. I've never heard of push. I would put, the first thing that pops into my head is a stick, right? To bite down on, like
Yeah.
Civil War style.
Oh, you could
know.
get
Yeah.
like some nice salad tongs that you could then use later after
Yes.
biting down on the wooden tongue.
Tongs.
Or what do you call it?
The forceps or
No, I'm talking. Hold on. What are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about
What are
like
you guys talking?
hauling that baby out of.
Yeah, I was
no,
thinking
no,
like
no.
of a.
I was thinking of a nice old wooden salad set.
Oh yeah.
One's like a fork spoon.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? I guess are they
No,
both?
well,
No,
one's a
one's spoony.
spoon and one's a fork. But it's sort of
sporky
sporky.
kind of fork, yeah.
Sparky.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're usually a nice wood, so you could bite down on that, but then use it for your salad.
Yeah,
That's what I was
that's a
trying
great
to get
idea.
at.
And you can use the bowl to catch the baby, right?
Sure.
Why not?
And then you can use the fork and spoon to cut the umbilical cord.
Ooh. Doesn't have the knife part on it.
Yeah, it's spiky.
Spike, you gonna jab at it? That's not gonna work. You need a knife. I'll get you a knife set for your push gift.
You just need a push.
Nice gifts. I need
Push,
to do
a
nice.
good push
actually.
gift is just something you put in your fist. You know, the old meditation, relaxation scrunchers.
Squeeze balls.
Squeeze balls. Yeah, that's a good
All
push
right.
gift.
Is This Good podcast coming later tonight/today with special guest Jackie Tone. So keep your eyes and ears out for that one. The YouTube to Is This Good is right here underneath our YouTube video. It's in the description. So go click on that. And then tomorrow, I already said this, biggest surprise for each Eastern Conference team at the quarter mark of the NBA season. Though there are 13 games on tonight too, maybe we can get, smart and sort of sprinkle them into the answers. But then again, sometimes...
Chunky show
I mean,
coming
look
up
how long this show
tomorrow.
was. I mean,
I
we're
know.
screwed.
Can't add more games.
And then Survivor's on tonight. We'll have No Buffs tomorrow as well, which has its own YouTube and podcast feed. Only 3 No Buffs episodes remaining, 3 or 4. So go check that out if you're a Survivor fan. Let's call it there. Hey, can I share one more thing before we go?
Yeah, man.
So you know we were talking about bird cams yesterday?
Oh, bird cam.
This is wild. So yesterday, I get home, I'm bringing in the recycling and the garbage, so I'm taking it to the side of the house, and what is at my feet but a dead bird? Very sad. A nice, cute little, I believe, a sparrow of some sort. Dead. Now, I think it hit a window and perished. Maybe a cat dropped it there. I'm not sure. But, the drive-in this morning, what did I see? A hawk. Sidewalk hawk. We just talked about bird cams and hawks stealing dogs and cats and stuff like that, and then I see a dead bird and a hawk within 24 hours of talking about it.
Love seeing a
Freaky,
hawk.
right? Do you think birds listen to our podcast? Or are we gonna get a lot of birds Spotify wrapped responses? Anyway, that's a story time for me.
Great. I love seeing a hawk.
What do you do with a dead bird? I threw it in the garbage. I hate doing that, but what else do you do with it?
The grossest thing at my house is our outside garbage can.
Because it's got dead animals.
Dead animals and dog poop. That's it. And old bags.
Yeah.
A bunch of old
I
compost
bagged it
bags.
up. I bagged it up.
Yep. It's gross. Garbage bins. Gross.
Is this good?
Is this good?
Garbage.
Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Is This Good is not live. Not going live. Is this good?
No.
Not for us.
No. Come on, Matteo.
Come on, Matt.
Come on, JD.
Yeah, what's going
Gotta
on
do it.
over there?
Make your
What
lives easier.
edits are happening? What topics are you leaving on the cutting room floor?
There's nothing left on it.
Well,
It's
what's
It's
going on?
technical difficulty.
it's mostly just adjusting the drift and because there's 3 different locations. It's hard to do.
Yeah,
It's
you're
too
right,
much.
you're right.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Save yourselves, man. Save yourselves.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Embrace the day, people.
See you.